technology, enthusiast, passionate about innovation. Above all, is a devoted lover of God, seeking to integrate faith and expertise to drive positive impact in his professional and personal pursuit. Let me just mention that because of our time. I know you have a long profile. Let me just mention that so that we can commence the program properly. I will still bring you back possibly in the next some weeks to discuss what blockchain technology it's all about. But our focus this afternoon is about the fintech revolution in Nigeria. I want to look at how digital payment and mobile banking are changing lives. Let me also welcome our guest all the way from United States of America, and that is Seun Adekanmi, one of the people leading the development of a tech ecosystem in Ogun State. Seun Adekanmi, good afternoon from Nigeria.
My president, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Pleasure to be here.
Well done, well done. So let's just kickstart. Let's start the program properly, and that's why let me ask Toyosi this question, then while I'll come back to you. When you talk about the fintech, just give us overview of what fintech it's all about.
Actually, fintech, for short, financial technology, is it refers to the use of digital technology to deliver financial services such as payments, savings, loans, and insurance, and more efficiently and inclusively. In Nigeria today, fintech is crucial because it is transforming traditional banking and making financial services accessible to millions who were previously unbanked and underserved, especially in rural areas and remote areas where physical bank branches are scarce.
Fantastic.
And the digital shift is driving economic progress, innovation, and financial inclusion, which is helping to build a more inclusive and empowered economy.
Very good, very good. And no wonder now, even if you go to the street or you go to local market, you see the so-called Yaloja telling you, you LHA transfer. You can do transfer.
Exactly.
And that's what we are that's what we are talking about, is actually changing lives.
Exactly.
There's a report I was reading that Nigeria is at the forefront of financial technology revolution, with over 250 fintech companies operating in the country. I don't want to mention their name.
Exactly, you are correct, sir.
They are transforming how Nigerians handle money, making transaction faster, more accessible, and increasingly digital. Then that's why Central Bank of Nigeria initiatives such as the Afrigo Domestic Card Scheme aim to enhance financial inclusion and reduce reliance on cash. As digital payments gain momentum, understanding this shift is crucial for individual and business alike, and that's why we are discussing that on this program this afternoon. Quickly, let me come to Seun Adekanmi. In few seconds, your word as regard fintech, how is changing life in Nigeria?
Good afternoon, sir. Fintech has taken over. That's just the honest truth. There's no doubt about it. Because about 20 years ago, when we all finished secondary school, I don't even think we had ATMs to access money. And now you come out of your house, you see about 3 to 6 POS people that are ready to give you cash. You had to go and queue at Skybank those days to get money. So I think the most important thing for fintech in Nigeria today, it has helped us to improve and automate financial services. In Nigeria, it is crucial because it bridges the gap between those traditional banks, the Union Bank, the First Bank, especially for the Yaloja at Adaton. So if you look at it, really, what they've done is just they've leveraged these fintech tools to pay workers faster on site. You go to sites now, the bricklayer is being paid faster with fintech. Everybody is being paid faster. And then the virtual wallets that's being created, like you said, we don't want to mention their names. It has allowed easy payouts to people that just work a shift, you understand, and help to formalize the Nigerian informal economy.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. You even mentioned Adaton. Hope you are not missing Adaton over there.
I miss my Elekosela. That's all I miss.
Thank you very much. Let me come back to Toyosi here in the studio. Toyosi, let's now look at how has mobile banking transformed, financial access in Nigeria. Of course, we have believed that we have this working now. How has this been, transformed financial access in Nigeria?
Mobile banking has transformed a whole lot of, financial access in Nigeria. And then we can see, like Mr. Sheun rightly mentioned, talking about the old women in the market, talking about even sometimes those that go about hawking. A few weeks ago, I wanted to buy something and I met a guy who hawks phone pouch. I met him, and after buying, I discovered I don't have enough cash to pay. I asked him if he takes transfer, and he told me yes. And I asked him the bank he uses, and he mentioned one of these MMOs. And immediately I sent money down to him, and instantly he received it. So this has actually shaped banking in the right phase, and it has helped a lot of people to leverage the banking system rather, and to some extent it has given a whole lot of persons hope. And I could remember during this cashless was it the cashless period some years ago where we had limited cash out there, and it's these are one of the things that drive a lot of people in the unbanked, to help them open up their banking accounts and help them have access to their banking accounts.
Fantastic. That's a good one. Thank you very much, Toyosi. Now let me come to Sheun now, so that we can balance it. We can balance it now. Which fintech platforms are popular among Nigeria? We have many of them. Now let's look at what I don't want you to mention any of the fintech because let's look at what CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, role in promoting these digital payments.
I always tell people that the Central Bank of Nigeria is more powerful than the Federal Reserve in the United States. And people argue a lot. And the reason why is simple. As of 2015, I believe, Nigeria was part of the emerging economy ranked in the world. I think we were number 4 out of the 6 emerging economies that were ranked. I won't mention the other countries. But something happened. We lost a decade between 2015 and 2025, where we are right now. We lost a decade. And I feel the CBN can still regain that positioning we had in 2015. The Central Bank of Nigeria's current governor is doing so much, but the corruption in the system has not allowed what he's doing to showcase itself. The CBN plays a vital regulatory role. When I say regulatory, in the part of the world where we are, here in the US, these systems and structures have been going on for years. We have to give our system time to work. The US is over 250 years old. Nigeria is just over 60 years old. So that means the CBN is less than 100 years. Let's even assume that the CBN started maybe around the amalgamation time of 1914. We need time. So the vital regulatory role that the CBN is doing for us through its cashless policies, the sandbox initiatives, the licensing frameworks, they play a very vital role. It's like omo like a baby. When you're taking care of a baby, that's what Nigeria is right now. So the central bank's role in promoting digital payments cannot be overemphasized. Right now, we have to understand that CBN regulations helps us to ensure safe, traceable, and legally compliant transactions for employers because even churches right now are exposed. I've seen a case, because I do some IT auditing here. I've seen a case of an NGO getting a 10 billion naira transaction, and then a few days later, the person that sent the $10 billion. In fact, the NGO did a Thanksgiving in their office. They were so excited because they were doing good work, and they got a 10 billion naira transaction. And then a few days later, the person that sent the money called the founder of the NGO and said, "Please, can you send back 9 billion? I mistakenly sent 10 billion instead of 1 billion. So the person called me. And when the person called and we were consulting for them at CHSG, I told the person, I said, one, don't send that money back yet. Get a written letter from them saying it was a mistake. Because whether you like it or not, they are using it to do money laundering. So the CBN's role in regulating those traceable, legally compliant transactions, especially for employers, because you as Mr. Toyosi is here, and we can't add if we're going to sorrow, but there was a transaction me and Mr. Toyosi were going to do with an oil and gas company in Abuja last year that probably, if we were not sensitive, we would have been in jail right now, me and Mr. Toyosi. Am I lying, Mr. Toyosi?
You are very correct. I could remember just last year here.
Please go ahead. I think network is fluctuating.
No, I'm with you, sir. I'm with you. I want Mr. Toyosi to just speak on that.
He has responded.
Okay, I actually responded. I said you are correct, and at a point we realized these guys, what they were telling us was not, we were trying to connect the dots, and it wasn't really going. And we've gone far. We've gone far. We started talking to the likes of Flutterwave in Lagos. We started talking to some other payment gateways in Lagos, and we're trying to connect the dots, and we discovered that what these guys were actually saying or telling us were not, very genuine. And if we had gone ahead, if we were greedy, and we do not have the fear of God, we would have fallen into a very, very big trap, and it would have cost us our reputation.
That's serious, and that shows that what CBN is putting into places. We discovered that Nigerian government has a lot of policy, a lot of structures, just because many don't actually know what they are doing. Even till today, people did not really know the categories of licenses being given to these banks we are talking about. Some people want to categorize MMOs alongside with microfinance bank, alongside commercial banks. And thank you very much. So these are some of the things that fantastic work that is
compliance level also. A lot of all of these fintechs, quite a number of them does not comply. And that usually leads to CBN getting them,
of
fined.
course, 3 days ago, it's popular. We can mention it. Paystack was fined. I think about 250 million naira. I think, yes, was it not?
Yes, I think I saw it.
Yeah,
I think it was this week. It was regarding the Zap application.
Yes, they launched. They didn't follow the proper procedure. They like so we have this regulatory body that is fantastically doing fine. I want to ask Adekunle something as regard instant payment. But let's quickly go on this commercial break. So when we return, then we continue in the line of thought. This is Splash FM 106.7 Abeokuta, still on Tech Talk, while we're discussing something that has to do with fintech revolution. Welcome back. This is Splash FM 106.7 Abeokuta. Still on Tech Talk, we are discussing something has to do with the fintech revolution in Nigeria. I still have here in studio with me Toyosi George Obayomi, who happens to be a seasoned accountant and financial analyst. Toyosi, now let's look at how has the value of electronic transaction changed in recent years?
The value of electronic transaction has, increased, monumentally in recent years. And, like I said, like the mobile banking usage, which a lot of people have been using at the moment. And it has surged by, I think, over 230%.
Oh.
Which makes up, transactions to be in trillions of naira year on year. This growth reflects the widespread adoption of digital payment channels and the declining reliance on cash, especially during periods of cash shortages and banking disruptions.
That's indeed a good one. That's indeed a good one. We are no longer behind. I think it was in the past. We are really giant of Africa. Also, when you look at in the area of fintech, what we are doing, like what Shane was talking about, the issue of the POS. I can remember my experience. I traveled to some African countries last year. Even moving around the capital city, you still find it difficult to find POS. If you go to the remotest part of Nigeria today, not to talk of the capital city, you find people here and there, POS. In fact, in the street, ATM machines. So you can see the level of improvement that we find ourselves in the country. That's indeed a good one. Now let's look at the impact the fintech had on Nigerian economy. Has it contributed positively or negatively?
Yes, it has. It has contributed positively, and it has a transformative effect so far, and driving financial inclusion and widening economic opportunities, enabling small businesses and individuals to access essential financial services, and also boosting efficiency and reach of financial transactions, which is going to push me to this right now, attracting significant international investment and creating jobs. So you can see for the MMOs, a lot of them have been getting a lot of funding from overseas, from abroad, especially the United States of America. I can remember, I think recently, one of the MMOs got a funding of, I think, $150 million.
Wow, that's huge.
Which has now made them become a unicorn. And I think you can
yes
the MMO I'm talking about. So if you look at it, there has been a transformative change in the fintech sector, and we see a lot of investments coming. In fact, recently, I'm not going to mention the name of the MMO, but an internet what's it called? There's this internet browser.
Okay.
Yeah, a Norwegian internet browser. I'm not going to mention the name. Recently increased their stake in one of these MMOs.
Wow.
From 6.75% to 9.85%.
Wow.
And which these are the scorecards that shows that the fintech sector is actually growing transformatively.
That's a good one. Now let me just ask Sheun this question. I hope you are still with us, Sheun Adekanmi.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay, now let's look at, we have discussed the advantages, the impact of what fintech has done to the Nigerian economy. Now, does it mean we do not have any challenges? Now, let's look at challenges facing fintech adoption in Nigeria. Let's look at that. Let me start from you. I will still ask Toyosi's view also as regards some of the challenges in terms of adoption of this, fintech in Nigeria.
I always tell people that build globally but act locally. So whenever we are testing websites at our company, I always tell people to test with the slowest internet. That's the most important and biggest challenge I think fintech's adoption is facing in Nigeria. Poor internet access. Because the internet in Iremo, where one of my developers works out from, is different from the internet in Abeokuta. It's different from the internet in Ijebu. It's different from the internet in Redemption Camp. In fact, the Redemption Camp, during camp, like Holy Ghost service today, the internet dropped significantly. So you have a ready-made problem. You have millions of people going to Redemption Camp today, and then the POS people cannot operate once it is 7 p.m. that efficiently. So poor internet is one. Then, of course, we have the normal African trust deficits. My grandma would not bank. My grandma is 101 years old at Isaleake. My grandma would not bank. In fact, I brought in the bankers from Stanbic IBTC because my grandma didn't have a BVN, to come and help her properly, like do the BVN thing. They came with the machines to our house in Isaleake, and my grandma still was skeptical. Like, oh, I'll just keep my cash. So that trust deficit is there. And then regulatory uncertainty. Yes, we all know about FDIC is insured, but people have just been burnt in the past. Retirees have been burnt in the past. You get? So for me, and that's why I'm so passionate about training and digital upskilling. I'm so particular about it. When we train, it helps to onboard new users for these fintech platforms while we are demystifying all the digital payments issues that we have. Like, oh my god, misalo, it only crash. Yeah, exactly. We can see what CBEX did now. CBEX made it worse now.
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So for me, I think systematic training, we do that a lot. We do that a lot, repeatedly, because if you don't train, you can't expect what you have not trained people on. Digital upskilling also is important, very, very important, not just for the Gen Z, but for the carpenter, for the plumber, making them to realize that them even holding assets, holding less cash, can help them operate more efficiently. Because if somebody pays me in cash, I have to take the cash to wherever I want to buy the goods. But if they transfer the money to me, I can send the money to the maybe manufacturer of the plumbing material. The person sends it to me via a bike man or a courier. I am more efficient. I have more ease of business. These things need to be taught. And I know that's one of the things the Ogun Tech community has been doing with our community. But thank God, our president is here. We need to literally map out a plan for the remaining 3 quarters of 2025 to reach out more to these unbanked rural areas. In Yewa, for example, when I went for an outreach in Yewa, I was still talking to Mr. Olamileko on Ojoabe on Tuesday. When I went to Yewa on Christmas Day for an outreach, medical, and we gave them food and everything, for us to get money, physical cash, we had to take a bike from inside Yewa, 45 minutes, not joking, my president, to get cash. We took bike 45 minutes because the person we wanted to give money to said cash is fair transfer. In this same Ogun State, sir. So that's where we have, sir, constant training from organizations like Ogun Tech Community, from organizations like ourselves, from organizations like Mr. Toyosi's. You get making sure that we embed it systematically. I'm not talking about training of telling them to come and listen to English on a laptop. No. Eko on Yoruba. Yeah. My mother-in-law is Iyaloja, like a big Iyaloja in Abeokuta. She moves millions every week. I'm not saying that to brag or anything. So she will literally send my wife when we were dating. Joloba fun ya ini 300,000 naira. My wife will carry 300,000 naira cash to go and drop for somebody who is going to collect ajo. All that can be digitized. The ajo collection, but the women, if their children are not around, if my wife is not around, or my wife's junior ones are not around to help mama with the transfer to her first bank. Anytime she gets an alert like this from first bank, I mean, hey, I want to think where your home, yo. So she would rather keep the cash at home, which is not secured. She will keep the 50-50, and it's yala jobs. They are loaded. Even the integration with now all the LACPO and everything can be digitized, but they need a constant training and digital upskilling.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Adekanmi, joining us all the way from United States of America. Now, let me come to Toyosi quickly. Your thoughts about this quickly because of our time.
Oh, okay, sir. You see, the challenges are several, and I think I'll be mentioning about 3 of them, which is number 1, limited smartphone penetration and digital literacy. especially in rural areas. So, in as much as we want people to, to know how to get their money saved digitally and all that, we need to also make sure that these guys can afford smartphones. And number two, network connectivity issues can hinder seamless service delivery, unlike Mr. Shemun just talked about. In a locality whereby, there are a lot of people using the network at the same time, it tends to, slow it down. And the final one is security concern and risk of fraud or cybercrime.
Thank you very much. Now, I don't know whether Sheun is still on the call. Let me ask you about what does the future hold for fintech in Nigeria? In 30 seconds, please. Sheun.
The future is bright. I was talking to a top-level former political office holder in Nigeria yesterday. He was calling me from London. And he literally said, cross-border payments in Africa. That is the key. What M-Pesa is doing in Kenya, let all the fintechs that are coming up try and do it. And when we can transfer money from Egypt to Nigeria in no time. When I was traveling to the US, I flew Egypt Air and I couldn't move money from my Nigeria account to pay in Egyptian because I didn't have a charger for my laptop, a converting charger. Those are the problems that we need to be solving. If we solve those problems, it will move the economy forward in Africa.
Thank you very much, Adekanmi, joining us from United States of America. Thank you very much. I hope when we call on you again, you honor our invitation. Thank you very much. Quickly, 20 seconds, Toyosi, your take on that, the future of fintech.
The future of fintech, like Sean rightly said, is so bright, and we are going to be experiencing continued growth, which is expected among people who have adopted digital payment over time. And I want to correct a notion. I think we are beginning to have a payment gateway that is going to connect Africa, which is PAPS, PAPSS, which is Pan-African Payment System. We can actually access that from the DMBs currently. If you walk into one of the commercial banks, you can get that service. You can send money from here to Burkina Faso. You send Naira, they receive in their Burkina Faso CFA. You can send money from here to other West African countries. And it's gonna go around.
Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. That is Mr. Toyosi Obayomi. Thank you very much, the financial analyst. I hope when we also call on you again, you honor our invitation.
Sure,
thank you very much. Let me just use this opportunity to reach out to the Shodia family on their final burial of Mrs. Christiana Idowu Shodia. That is, Wakekeeping is taking place today, and tomorrow, by God's grace, is the burial. May the soul of Mama rest in peace. Thank you very much. This is how we draw the curtain for the Tech Talk this afternoon. My name is Adekunle Durosinmi. Tech Talk come here live next week, Friday, same time, same station. Enjoy the rest of your day.